Prime Minister Theresa May warned if Parliament does not ratify a Chequers-based agreement with the European Union, the only alternative would be a Brexit no deal. Euronews political editor Darren McAfee warned the European Parliament's Brexit coordinator, Mr. Verhofstadt, the EU was going to have to compromise and accept Chequers. Speaking on Euronews Raw Politics, Mr. Verhofstadt explained two major problems with the Prime Minister's Chequers agreement. He said, Chequers is positive in a number of areas. Let's first say that. It's for example positive that Chequers is proposing an association agreement. That's the position of the European Parliament, that an association agreement is the best basis to establish this new relationship. Secondly, it's positive on external security, it's positive on the cooperation on internal security. It's positive on a number of thematic operations. The problem with Chequers for the European Union is in the economic and trade part, where Chequers is proposing a facilitated customs arrangement with two different tariffs, and where we should outsource our customs duties, and that will never happen. The European Union is a full-fledged customs union, and we cannot accept a differentiation in tariffs, or we cannot accept to outsource our duties. That's one. The second is the Common Rule Book. The Common Rule Book means that in fact when we make rules on services, on special activities, on import and export of goods, we can do that as a single market. We do that now as a single market with 28. In the future, we do that with 27 and then have a separate negotiation on this with Britain, and that is not possible either. We cannot accept these two concepts that are in Chequers. Who compromises? You are going to have to compromise. Darren McAfee political editor Mr. McAfee stepped in, pointing out the EU was going to have to compromise over Chequers or would risk a Brexit no deal. He said, who compromises? You are going to have to compromise. Theresa May says this is my deal, I cannot move on this. Politically in Britain she is in a corner, you're going to have to compromise. Mr. Verhofstadt, President of the European Parliament's ALDE Group, said, it is always possible to make compromises. I live in Belgium, and that is a country that knows very well the art of compromising. Brexit news. Guy Verhofstadt was warned the EU would have to compromise in negotiations. Image, Getty Euronews. But, what we will not do is to compromise in a way that we destroy the single market or the European Union. That we will not do. We cannot, for example, compromise and say okay, the customs union does not exist anymore in the European Union and we are going to make facilitated customs arrangement with different tariffs and outsourcing or customs duties. That is not possible. So even when I want to compromise, it is impossible to compromise on such a thing. But I think it is possible nevertheless to find a way out on this. Theresa May claimed that the alternative to her controversial Chequers agreement was a Brexit no deal, if her blueprint was voted down in the House of Commons. The Brexit Committee published a report saying the government's priority must be to secure a divorce agreement with the European Union. The report has warned that a no-deal outcome would have big consequences for the EU and the UK, and it would be chaotic and damaging for the UK economy. The chair of the committee, Hilary Benn MP, said, we're urging the government to concentrate on getting a deal to ensure the continuation of tariff and friction-free trade, which is so important to the future of our economy. If the Chequers plan is not acceptable as a basis for that, then the government will need to find a different approach urgently. Alternatives are either an EU-UK customs union and alignment on relevant EU rules, or EU membership and a customs union, but neither are government policy.
Thanks you for watching. Please subscribe News to You channel. Goodbye and see you again.